Hello and welcome to Learn the Violin Lesson 14. This lesson is all about reading violin sheet music and is a continuation of our earlier lesson, which was lesson 11. The fact that to read violin music is quite easy is for some people difficult to believe. But if you use the technique I'm going to show you in the next 10 minutes, then you'll find that you'll be able to discover new pieces of music and be able to read them. Okay, so let's look briefly at the last lesson that we did, which is this lesson. Lesson 11. And in this lesson we looked at the way notes were portrayed on the music, and we talked about the way that each note corresponded to a particular string on the violin. Now I can read this because I've been reading music for quite a few years. For example, this here is open G. Then we've got the 1, the 2 and the 3 of the G. This is open D, 1, 2, 3, and this is open A, 1, 2, 3, open E, first finger on E and the second finger. So the way that you have to start to learn reading music is to use a technique whereby you are using the numbers that correspond to notes on the violin. Okay. So if we look at what I've done here, I've actually written the fingers that you need to use on the violin to play the notes. If you look at this very bad drawing of the 4 strings of a violin. This is the E, this is the A, this is the D and this is the G. And these numbers correspond to the open position, the first finger, the second finger and the third. We're going to forget about the 4th finger for now. Now at the end of the first lesson on reading music, we were looking at a fingering exercise which goes up in thirds, and this fingering exercise is very useful, and also it is something that will help you to use when you're actually reading music, because it's a good exercise for you to look at the notes and to see that they actually work in a sequence. The sequence of this one is in thirds. So this note here with the 0 is open G, which corresponds to the open G on the G string. If we go back up, we can see that this is the open on the D string, this is the open on the A string, and this is the open on the E string. And by writing down the notes, you are able to play the piece. Now at the end of the last lesson I told you to use a scale like the scale of G printed out, and to use my video to write down the notes. And that's a very, very good idea, to have sort of a template so you know what each note corresponds to what string. So if we look at the first 4 notes, we have an open, a second finger, a first finger and a third, and that sounds a bit like this. So it's open 2 1 3. Then we progress up. We use a 2 on the G, an open on the D, a third finger on the G, and a first on the D. And we continue now. Totally on the D we have an open, 2, 1 and 3 on the D. And this next piece, which is this piece here, goes into the A, which is the 2 on the D, open A, 3 on the D, first on the A. This piece here is totally in A, open 2, 1, 3, so open 2, 1, 3, and then we go into the E. This one is the first. It's a hasn't been photocopied very well. So here we have 2, open, 3, first on the E, and then the final bit here is where it goes completely on the E. So it sounds like this. And back down. So there we have it. We have a piece that we just played by using the numbers and the fingering positions as taught earlier. So let's have a look at the bow, and let's see if we can both read this together and go very, very slowly. So we're going to just go very slowly on the count of 4. And then if we come down just as slowly, 1, 2, 3, 4. So let's do that again one more time, quite slowly. 1, 2, 3, 4. And then back down. 1, 2, 3, 4. practice this sequence and don't be disheartened if you don't know what the notes are straight away, because the more you use this type of exercise, the better you will become, and soon, if you're practicing correctly, you won't need the dots at the bottom. We're going to have a look at this arpeggio, and here we can have a look what the notes should be. So an arpeggio, this is going to be an open string, then that goes to a 2, then we go to the D, open, third finger on the D, first finger on the A, third finger on the A, and second finger, and this comes back down again, second finger on the E, third finger on the A, first finger on the A, third finger on the D, open on the D, and we have the 2 and the open on the G. Now this is an arpeggio, and it's very, very good fingering exercise. It starts off on the G and it goes. And you can actually get sort of a rhythm going, which is great for a violinist. This can be done in different keys, and you can actually play over this type of rhythm. Here I'm just using the first 4 notes. And I can use the top 3. So in any type of order, but this is what this type of exercise teaches you. It teaches you how to put notes together to make them sound nice. And if we use the bow, okay, so I missed out the top to come down evenly. But if I didn't miss out the top, the second finger on the E, it would sound like this. We're going to do more arpeggios and finger exercises later on in the course, and of course we're going to do some songs, and hopefully we'll be able to sometimes read them and sometimes just play them by ear from looking at the fingering positions. So that's the end of lesson 14. Thank you for joining me today, and I hope you can join me again for the next lesson, which is lesson 15. So from me, for now, bye bye.